And good morning at 7:04 on this Tuesday, October 31st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you on the first real frosty morning of the season, the last day of October. We're on the air, of course, for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and it's time for today's Health Minute, brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. New reports show an estimated 41% of adults in the U.S. delayed or avoided medical care completely by June of 2020. This includes annual wellness checks with your primary care physician. When annual doctor visits and screenings are delayed or simply skipped altogether, it can lead to late diagnosis of serious illnesses such as cancer and overall worsened health outcomes. If you only visit the doctor when you're sick, that appointment time will be dedicated to addressing that single issue. Making time for an appointment to address your comprehensive wellness needs is equally as important. Even if you're relatively healthy, it's important to keep these yearly appointments with your local doctor. It's a dedicated time once a year to talk about your health needs, such as heart attack risk, mental health, digestive issues, chronic conditions like diabetes, and more. For more information, visit VanderbiltWilsonCountyHealth.com. And remember, life's essential 8. Eat better, be more active, quit tobacco, get healthy sleep, manage weight, control cholesterol, manage blood sugar, and manage blood pressure. And with that, let me introduce my guest this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the one and only Uncle Pete.
Good morning, Wilson County and the surrounding areas. This portion of today is being brought to you by the Lebanon Wilson County Veterans Center. Good morning, Coleman.
Good morning. Good to see you.
You know, we spend more time taking care of our car than we do ourselves.
Do we really?
Yes. Now, would you think about it? You make sure that the oil's changed and it's greased and you got good tires on it, and yet...
And you have to fill it up about every so often.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to Vanderbilt cardiac rehab for that reason that I had heart attacks back at the beginning of the fair, and they do good. It's around back in the basement. Yeah. Those ladies will take good care of you.
Well, there's nothing like a good testimonial, but you've had good things to say about Vanderbilt Hospital.
Absolutely. It is not the same hospital that everybody disliked a long time ago.
Yeah.
They care about you. If I'm late, they call me. But they really do. The ladies down there in the cardiac rehab and in the rehab center, all in all. There was a lady yesterday. She was trying to learn to walk with a new prosthetic leg, and the guy gave her some really good advice. Ma'am, don't think about it. Just do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was just having a heck of a time, and he said, "Ma'am, you're overthinking this. Just do it."
Did it get better?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm in there with a bunch of old veterans and stuff. All of us have had heart attacks or something, and all of us are learning to do again.
Well, let me ask you something. Well, this will be a little bit of current events this morning.
Sure.
We all know it was, I guess it was 3 weeks ago, last Saturday, that what happened in Israel, the Hamas made that kind of sneak attack and kidnapped a bunch of people, and we understand killed some infants and some atrocities there, but those maybe kidnapped 200. But what do you think ought to be done? What do you think about what Israel is doing? What about the United States?
No less than what we did after Pearl Harbor, no less than what we did after 9/11. You cannot negotiate with thugs and...
You think Israel needs to come in and wipe them out?
I think level it all. I'm sorry. I know people are not going to agree with that, but if you have a ceasefire, you say, okay, you won. Go on, do it again, and we'll forgive you again. No, you cannot forgive those people. There is no forgiveness. They actually believe that when they die, they're going to go to heaven, and 7 virgins are going to be waiting on them. Partner, they ran out of virgins in 1932. There ain't none left up there.
Well,
and you ain't going to heaven for what you've done to those children.
Let me ask this because I do have the people that are there. I can't what's I mean the ones that were there. Jordan doesn't want them. Egypt doesn't want them. They don't really have anywhere to go. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with them?
Well,
do they need a state of their own?
They need an area of their own if they would stay in it and stay out of everybody else's business and not try to eliminate Israel.
Yeah, I think that's what the whole problem is.
And the thing is, the majority of them do. And I feel really sorry for all those people that have had to go south with nothing but whatever was on their back.
Right.
But guess what? You knew those other people were there. You knew, a lot of you knew they were planning things. A lot of you's children and sons and daddies and brothers were in the midst of it. You know, the Omans that are preaching this, I'll guarantee you they're south with the rest of them. They ain't on the front line shooting them. No, I got to preserve myself so I can teach you how to go kill people. Yeah.
Well,
but that's only my opinion.
Well, but it's probably shared by a lot of people in this country.
Yes, sir. I got a lot of friends from a long time that are Jewish, and I feel sorry for them because some of them have families over there. Some of them have children that are over there in the military that served in the United States military, then went to Israel and volunteered and became an Israeli soldiers.
Well, another thing that probably is a lot more fuel to the fire here, Iran, in my opinion, is really the big problem there. They're stirring it all.
You don't know what I hope they're not stupid enough to think, well, we've got them occupied down here in the south, so we'll just come up, we'll cross the border. They're gonna have a real surprise for them. That Iron Dome that Israel's got is pretty daggum effective. It's taking out about 92% of everything that's incoming, but also it's tracking where it came from and it's sending one back. Here, you forgot one.
Well, you're here to talk about primarily the veterans and what all's going on, and of course there's been some changes that's happened this year. You've got this old fire station. You're ready to fix it up, and you come and give us kind of a progress report, usually once a month.
Yes, sir.
But it was the city, the mayor took notice, and the city fathers, the council agreed and made this available, and they've really stepped up to the plate here.
Yes, sir, they have, and some of my vets have come online. We've got a couple of guys that are going to build some ramps inside the building so you can get either side of it without any problem at all. Got one gentleman that is going to redo the bathrooms. I've got to go pick up the blueprints for that for him. He's going to split the bathroom in half and make a ladies' and a men's handicap, and he's going to dedicate it to his dad. I'm not going to tell the name because we're going to have a plaque made to go on the doors.
Nice.
Yeah. And we've had some help from the sheriff's department cleaning up outside, cutting bushes and cleaning out. I went over there with my post hole diggers, going to dig a hole and put my flagpole up and hit rock. So I've got to go back with somebody a little bit stronger than me and get the hole dug.
It's Wilson County.
There's not but one rock in Wilson County, and I think it ends up in Lewisburg.
It's just a little bit deeper in some places than others.
Yes.
Oh,
but we're coming along with things. We got a donation that I've got to go pick up. It took a little bit to get it completed, but we had a bunch of ceiling tiles out, and one of the Lowe's has given us a couple cases of ceiling tiles. We're going to replace those. So, next time you're in Lowe's, just say thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are stepping up. I need more. If you want to buy a room or something, we can negotiate on how much you would need to donate to put your name on a room.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, those type of things. We're hoping very seriously to have a program through the psychiatric department at Murfreesboro. So they're over here a few days a week doing things that normally they would have to drive to Murfreesboro. It makes a lot more sense for one person to drive than 9.
Yeah.
And they see 9 people a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a little bit easier if you're in your own environment and not in a psychiatric ward, in a psychiatric hospital. It takes that stigma off of it just a little bit. You're there to talk. Been there, done that. Come on, let's talk. And that's the type of thing that we're doing. Time to take a break.
All right. I introduced you as Uncle Pete, but of course it's Haywood P. Norman IV.
Absolutely.
Known as Uncle Pete.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk more after this break. This is Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. Get a battery installed on most vehicles. $149.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. People were staring at a crash a few minutes ago coming out of Rutherford County on 24 westbound, just past Walden Road. It's pretty busy out through there right now. Trying to get in from Rutherford County headed towards Nashville. It's also picked up on Vietnam Vets through Hendersonville, westbound there on Vietnam Vets headed towards I-65. It's increasing as we speak on I-40 westbound in Mount Juliet, leaving Wilson County headed towards Nashville. Watch for a little bit of radar out there. Hey, there's an adventure around every corner at the Memphis Zoo. If you've never been there or haven't been there in a while, check them out at memphiszoo.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
Where a patient starts their cancer care matters. And here, that means Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, Wilson County. It's Vanderbilt level care without making the drive to Nashville. From screening to diagnosis to treatment and recovery, patients can get all the care they need right here close to home. So now, having the best care team and most advanced treatment is closer than ever. Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, making cancer care personal.
It's that time of year, time for the 11th annual The Mill at Christmas, Friday, November 3rd and Saturday, November 4th at the Mill at Lebanon. Join us Friday, November 4th, VIP Sip and Shop from 4 to 9 p.m. Holiday shopping bag, bubbly bar, and decadent dessert. $10 at the door, perfect for the girls' night out. Saturday, November 5th, family fun and all-day shopping event, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come see Santa. He arrives at noon. The Mill at Christmas, the ultimate shopping experience. Find us on Facebook, The Mill at Christmas.
Thanks for joining us. We continue here on this Tuesday morning. Pete is with us. We're talking this Veterans Center. You got a name for it?
Yes, sir. Lebanon Wilson County Veterans Center.
All right. And things are looking up. You hit a snag now and then.
Yes, sir.
Everything doesn't go just like you would like for it all the time. But,
no.
But overall, It sounds like you're very positive.
2 walls and a closet to remove, and then we'll have a big area that would be a meeting space. We've already got a group called us wanting to utilize our space to have their meetings. So that's coming up. We've got an area that's going to be the rec area, and got to move a pool table into there. And Jack Cato gave us a regulation pool table that in order to move it, you got to take it apart, and then once you get it over there, you got to put new felt on top of it.
Yeah.
So I finally got somebody who moves and sets up pool tables, who has agreed sometime in latter part of November he will move the pool table. He's going to do it on a Saturday morning, him and 3 other guys. So it takes 4 to take it apart and move it. And he said it's about a 3-hour job.
And that doesn't include putting the felt back on?
Well, that's that,
all of it.
Yeah,
okay.
all
okay.
of it.
Well, good.
He said once he gets there, then they'll put new felt on it. He'll bring the felt in the pockets and all that. And then once that's done, it's got to set for 72 hours before you play pool on it. But we've got all the balls and the racks and the cues and all that to hang. We've got already figured out a place that we're going to be able to put those. And we're going to put it over close to one of the big windows. And, it's starting to come, and I want it to go fast, but I realize that I can't. It needs to go slow and do everything. We got some walls.
What kind of pool shooter are you? You've played pool, no doubt.
In my day, in Donaldson, not many people would bet with me. I played down at the pool hall down in the basement there across from the theater, and I think it's called Rack 8 or something, Rack It Up or something, and we played, I think it's 50 cents a game or something. I won a few, lost a few. There was a few older guys that I did not play pool with, but I watched and learned. Important lesson from one of them, he said, if you're good at math and you're good at physics and calculus, you can be a good pool player. He said it's all mathematical. And he's right. It's all angles and banks and...
Well, it is.
yeah. And I listened to him and started figuring out, hey, if it hits there, it'll go there and it'll come back here.
Yeah.
Hey! and it is. Fats, Mississippi Fats or Missouri Fats or whatever it was that ended
Minnesota Fats.
Minnesota Fats had the place downtown Nashville towards his end of his life. He said it's all about the math. And he would tell people, he would teach classes down there, and he would bring kids from high school, and he said, look, this is math. This is the reason you need to listen in school.
You think there'll be a time when you'll need another one or a couple more pool tables, or one will be enough?
Possibly. One for right now, one will be plenty. Younger people, and this crowd is primarily going to be for the 9/11 forwards. They're into the video games. Like my grandson's 24, and he plays different games online and on a big screen TV. In fact, he's got a computer set up in his now it's his office, he calls it. But he's got 3 screens in front of him, and it's surround sound almost.
Yeah, well, to each his own. Well, but that I agree though that the younger people are so computer savvy and all of this,
yes,
and that's their life almost.
It is. They're recruiting now for people to fly drones in another country and be sitting in Nashville. They've got that already down at the air base. They're sitting there flying a drone. Somebody will launch it and then they take it over and fly it. So it's amazing. I mean, it is amazing.
Well, any more legislation or any more what's the big thing? I guess is just to get it. Get it improvements
up and running.
Made, get it up and running, yeah.
Yeah, and then next May we're going to try to do a marathon, and I think that will be a good thing. Speaking of good things, this Saturday, watch for the veterans. They'll be out selling poppies. All that poppy money comes from veterans who are in hospitals who make the poppies. They're handmade. Then we sell the poppies, and all of that money goes back to help veterans. And this is the American Legion Post 5015 that'll be selling them. And we'll be at Kroger's and, I don't know, I always food them, but it's somebody else's food.
Is it Mike's? I think. But anyway, it's not ours anymore. Yeah.
And a couple other locations we'll be at selling poppies. Used to be on the streets, but the police department doesn't want us there.
Yeah, we got so much more traffic anymore.
But you made so much more money.
I know. What is it? Just a donation? Or you?
It's a donation. We're going to give you a poppy, and then just whatever you throw in the bucket, be fine.
Even $1 would.
Yeah. I sell them year round, so I start with an advantage. I've got a couple of $100 in that fund already from where we've collected from them, and I just got a bucket full of poppies in a jar. And
what's happening nationally? And I don't know. I guess you and if you don't yourself, the veteran services and the literature that you read and emails or whatever tells you pretty much what's going on in Washington D.C. and the atmosphere right now regarding veterans and veteran services. There's been times when they've wanted to cut back.
Yes,
what's it like right now?
The prior administrations have cut here and there. They'll take one thing of money and pull it back and put it into something else. Hey, look what we've done, and they're just shuffling money. Really, the biggest thing nowadays is like anywhere else. It's salaries. Used to, when they had the draft, you started at about $150 a month and went up from there. Now I think they start them at about $20,000 a year and go up from there. But they're in recruiting and all of our ranks, all of the branches are down with the exception of the Coast Guard. Yeah. Coast Guard is pretty well full, but.
Well, I was thinking about but services for veterans and those that are. Well, we're hearing an awful lot about mental problems.
Well,
and is there
more? There's more funding for the mental programs for PTSD. That people had somebody the other day and said, I don't think PTSD is real, and I said, no, it ain't. It ain't. And for those that didn't see that, I blinked my eye and jerked my head.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that just shot up and killed all those people
in Maine,
military.
Yeah.
He was having psychiatric problems, and nobody caught it. Nobody took his weapons away from him. Nobody took him into custody and made him have a psych eval. He, you know, and I hate that he killed all those people in Maine, but that guy was having emotional problems. And you cannot send people into combat to see what we see and do what we do and say, okay, you're fine, you're over, go home. It don't. You take that baggage with you. There's things that happen to me from time to time that spark memories of things that I did and saw and participated in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And they still come to the surface.
So that's one thing I feel we need to deal with more and more here in this country.
Yes, and that's what the center is going to be for, to help that. You know, I heard a guy describe it one time. Said it's like taking a fly swatter and beating off a line. He keeps coming back. And you keep hitting him on the nose, but he keeps coming back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for people who've not been there and done that to know what I'm even talking about. But yet more and more people who are having problems with different things are saying, you know, hey, maybe I got PTSD. Yeah, maybe you do. And maybe you need to ask somebody. Do not be embarrassed to ask, because the alternative is the guy in Maine who's dead.
Okay.
The alternative is to some idiot that blew up a building and killed a bunch of people. That's the alternative. If you see your family member who is acting squirrely or is saying stupid things, do not think little of that. Think, hey, come on, me and you need to go talk to somebody. There is emergency services that get you in right now. So please don't wait till it's too late.
Well, we have got 30 seconds. You take donations, you'll be doing the poppies. The poppies are not really for the center here.
But no, it's for the veterans.
Right.
It's for the
but
veterans.
It's still for a good cause.
So when you see them, you got two choices. One is a dollar bill and the other is that 10. Throw that 10 in.
Pete, it's always good to have your time.
It's always a wonderful pleasure of mine to be here when I remember to get here.
Yeah.
But,
well, you were here before
but you
me
did it right this time. You told Mary Ann.
615-804-4404. That's the number if you need to talk to Pete.
Absolutely. Right. If you need to see me, come on out. You hear?
All right. That's part one of Coleman and Company. Please keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota. High performance, high horsepower, 0% financing is still a thing. Now is the best time to save on new Kubota L-Series tractors, rated number 1 for durability and owner experience in the U.S. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
To wrap up a couple of ranks in the same spot, 140 eastbound, the other one westbound. On 40 over here near Fessler's. It's got it slow in both directions, especially westbound, where it's already heavy this time of the morning trying to get in from Donaldson. Again, on 40 eastbound up by Spence Lane, it's really just crawling along. 24 is still pretty heavy trying to get out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, towards Nashville. It's picked up with more volume just in the last few minutes in the Mount Juliet area, headed towards Hermitage. On 40 headed westbound. A Prince's Hot Chicken is hiring at all 4 locations. You can check them out today at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell congratulating the entire team at WANT for 30 years of real country and spreading the news around the city of Lebanon.
Hello, this is Josh from Herc Rentals in Lebanon. Just wanted to wish WANT 98.9 a happy 30th anniversary coming up on October 1st.
This is Randy Salas with Cumberland Phoenix Baseball, and I'd like to wish a happy 30th anniversary to Susie James and all the fine folks out at WANT-FM and WCOR-AM. Congratulations.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
And now, a moment of silence to remember our dear friend.
Sorry. Oh, man.
Life can be uncomfortable. Your home doesn't have to be. With a wide range of air conditioners, furnaces, and heat pumps, Rheem makes it easy to feel comfortable, even when you can't be comfortable.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
We are waking up this morning with a little bit of frost on the ground. We'll see more sunshine throughout your Halloween day. High of around 50 today. Freeze warning continues tonight into Wednesday. We'll see that low down to 23 with frost possible and eventually warming up to about 49 for your Wednesday. Happy Halloween. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction of Realty, Professional Auction, and Real Estate Services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's the forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
We welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company here on Tuesday morning. John Dozier joins us as he does each Tuesday at this time to talk about Hearthside Senior Living.
Good morning, Coleman.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a little chilly outside, but I feel good, and I wish I drank coffee like you do.
I'm trying to cut back a little, but
it doesn't look like it. You got a big cup there.
Pete brought me a big cup. I'll probably drink all of it. We usually expect it to be kind of like this by the 15th of October, first frost maybe, and we put it off for 2 weeks this year. So,
well, our residents have really enjoyed sitting on the front porches and enjoying the nicer weather. But when it gets cold, we we turn the fireplaces on and enjoy being inside.
And I'll bet they drink a little more coffee.
They drink a lot of coffee. Yeah, we spend a lot of money on food and coffee.
Well, Hearthside Senior Living is a retirement and assisted living community at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North. Sean's the executive director, and is it 5 years you've been doing
5
this?
years, and I was doing our marketing material for 2024 and reviewing our pricing and our services, and I have to tell you, we're going to be continue to be competitive in our pricing and also our services. I think I mentioned last week, our board voted to keep our pricing very reasonable, and our small and medium and large rooms, I think if you look around the county, if you look around the state, look around the country, our prices are incredibly reasonable, and the services that you get for our price is tremendous. You know, we get for that price, you get 3 meals a day, you get snacks, you get activities, you get socialization, you get a worship service on Sunday morning where they come in and actually do the service there, so you don't have to get out. You get towels and you get washcloths. You get activities, you get all that planned out for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And you get housekeeping, you get cable free, you get, it's part of the package. You get Wi-Fi, that's part of the package. So it's all part of that package for one price. And that's the reason, Coleman, as you say, we stay full. We have we don't have a long waiting list. We have a long waiting list for our independent living, but for our assisted living, we do have a small waiting list. But I tell you, that's the reason, is because our pricing is reasonable, our pricing is fair, and then we offer all those services that encompass that one price. So as I was doing the marketing material this week, I was proud of where we are and where we've been and where we're going.
Well, another thing that probably means a lot, you're a nonprofit.
We're a nonprofit, locally owned, Christian-based.
Together, yeah.
Yeah, we're, we don't have to answer to somebody anywhere. We answer to... I answer to the board, obviously, but we get to make the decisions here locally, which makes a big difference. When we recently sold a house, and we in our independent living, and then we sold it, and you just dealt with me. It wasn't that long. You didn't have to deal with a realtor. You didn't have to deal with outside agency, somebody from outside the state. You just dealt with me, and it's such a simple process. When I gave the refund check back to the person that was leaving, they were like, "This has been a great experience. I appreciate all you did for us." And comments like that really do make a difference, because it's just so simple. It's there's not a lot of paperwork. There is some paperwork, but not a lot of paperwork. And we believe in that local independent operation.
Yeah, and another thing you've talked about quite a bit too, the socialization that you have there, and how that people are reluctant sometimes to want to do that when they get there and come out of the shell and almost a different person.
That is so true. When you're at home all the time, you're sitting by yourself, you're watching Wheel of Fortune, every single day, and you don't talk to anybody, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by people, at least 3 times a day at mealtime.
Yeah.
You get to talk to people. You get to share your feelings, get to share your thoughts, and it does make a difference when you come in there. I tell people all the time, give me a week, give me 3 weeks, you'll see a difference in your mom, you'll see a difference in your father, and it makes a difference, Coleman. I mean, loneliness, as I've said before, is one of the biggest diseases in our country, is because people just don't have that socialization like they used to. The pandemic made it even worse. So some people haven't come out of that yet. So I encourage people, if they're looking for a little helping hand, they realize, hey, I'm not taking my medication correctly, or maybe I'm not eating, consistently, and maybe I'm not seeing anybody like I used to. I encourage people to check out assisted living. It's a great thing. It really is.
615-443-1994 is your phone number, but you just assume somebody come see you.
I'd rather somebody just stop by anytime. All of our staff is able to give tours, and I always tell people, it's best just to stop by and see what's going on. Catch people like what they really are. And I'm confident if you come by Hearthside, you'll be pleased at what you see.
How about a Hearthside hello?
Hearthside hello. I was, after 5 years, you think nobody's going to say anything to you, but I was at an estate sale last Thursday, the Gray's estate sale, and their son-in-law, Mike Hardin, said, I heard you on Coleman this morning, so I wanted to give Mike Hardin a Hearthside hello. He's probably built several people who listen to this show. He's probably built several cabinets for people who listen to this show, but he's been around a long time, and Mike Hardin is my Hearthside hello.
All right, that's great. Well, just remember, Harside, when it's time for a helping hand, and Sean Dozier's here to serve you all.
Have a great week.
All right.
Bye.
See you next time. Well, we are 21 minutes before the hour. I've asked my friend Tom Brashear to come and be on the program today. Tom is the Wilson County Director of Development Services. I think I got that right. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Coleman?
All right. How your Auburn Tigers doing?
Oh, in a couple of years, they'll be better. How about that? They're trying hard.
Oh, well, it is always good to see you, and you've kind of been a go-to guy for me in a way when I've sometimes almost reached the end of the line. Well, Tom will come out, and that sort of happens to be the way it is today. But you have always been available when I needed you. I thank you for that, and we've developed a friendship over the years. I appreciate that as well. But I think you have a very responsible job with the county, and you have more responsibility now than you had when you first began here, and that's because you did a good job in the beginning. And if you got something that you really need to get done, you give it to a busy person, and they figure out a way to get it done. That's what I've heard. Anyway,
I appreciate that, Coleman.
Well, I do feel that way. I think you're very valuable to county government, and some of what you do is part of what you do is a job everybody wouldn't necessarily want.
Yeah.
You have to make some decisions that anger some people sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Before we get into that, I was listening to Sean, and oddly enough, I'm usually here after Sean or the fellow from the Dodge dealership, one of those two. But
Billy Mullinex.
Billy Mullinex, yeah. But thinking of what Sean was talking about, I'm reaching that age where I've got parents and in-laws that are starting to look into housing products like that, and just looking at our overall population, we're a little bit top-heavy, both in terms of people that have either lived here all their lives and just loved it so much they've stayed and raised their families and they want to stay here, or people that are moving in here. Quite a few of the people that are moving in here, in addition to the young families that are moving in here, the grandparents want to come along and be close. And, whether you're talking about the Del Webb communities over in Mount Juliet and some of the other retirement communities. I think in Lebanon, we've got quite a few retirees in Stonebridge, and there's a new development up Cairo Bend. I fail to remember the name of it. It's in Lebanon, but we've got quite a bit of housing that's going in that's targeted or marketed to both young families and to the older set to try to give them some proximity to one another and have a mix of ages, which I think is always helpful for
How
people.
busy are you right now? Are you as busy as you've ever been? Busier than ever? Or
I am. I brought some numbers over the past, just based on adequate facilities tax payments, which is a good way to kind of track housing starts. Over the past 5 fiscal years and 3 months, so 5 1/4 fiscal years through September, we've had about 13,433 adequate facilities tax payments made countywide. And over that time period, 8,000 of them were in Lebanon, roughly 8,031. 3,369 were in Mount Juliet, 38 were in Watertown, and 1,995 have been in the county unincorporated area.
Almost 2,000.
Yes. Yeah. And so just in the past year, however, our numbers are a little bit more, what I will say is sane. They're back to approximately, if you just did the math, right now we're on track to maybe match our 2019 fiscal year. So far, we've had about 374 adequate facilities tax payments made for residential units countywide. And so that's as opposed to 3,000 if you were to do the math all the way out through the end of the year, as opposed to 3,000 or better permits over the year. That would be something more akin to 1,200 or 1,300 permits over the year.
So are you saying by that it's slowing down a little bit?
Yeah, I think the interest rates are having an effect. Of course, we did a density amendment out in the county for the 12 to 15% of the residential growth that we account for, just based on, if nothing else, public outcry about people get it not after having 5 years like we've had of extraordinary growth. People are starting to look around and say, "Man, there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of growth."
Has a lawsuit been filed on that?
There has
so
been.
That may be.
It may change, but for now, it is what it is. So it's got I think roughly 2 acre tracts out in the county A1 zone district, and roughly acre tracts in the R1 zone district is our standard lot size.
What do you spend most of your time doing?
It just depends on the year and what we're doing. Like right now, we're undertaking a drainage study or a flood study of the Spencer Creek watershed in partnership with the Corps of Engineers. We are also trying to wrap up and put a bow on the urban growth boundary discussions that were requested by the city of Mount Juliet initially approximately 1.5 to 2 years ago. We're hopeful that we can reach agreement with all of the legislative bodies and move that on to the state. We are still in the process of a land use plan update that the county's been trying to take on in earnest, but when the growth plan discussion happened, we put that on pause because at least initially, Mount Juliet had quite a wide expansion that they were looking at. Now they've reduced that back to several parcels, not several hundred acres. So I don't anticipate that it's going to be problematic. It's just a matter of kind of hitting some of the short road details and getting everybody to agree on it. So we can go on with our land use plan in the county.
It is time for us to take a break. Tom Brashear is here. We'll talk more in a moment. You're on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil. Tax and disposal, $16.73 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Trying to wrap up this crash over here on 40 east and westbound around Fessler, especially eastbound, has really caused a mess. It's heavy we would expect on I-40 coming in from Wilson County through the Mount Juliet area. Also crowded, leaving Rutherford County, Murfreesboro towards Nashville up through Antioch on 24 going westbound up past Bell Road. Prince's Hot Chicken is hiring at all locations. Check them out today at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Ken Nelson Sr., representing Cedar Seniors. Want to wish WANT the 30th anniversary. Congratulations.
This is Scott Jasper from Wilson Bank and Trust. Just wishing WANT FM 98.9 a happy 30th anniversary.
This is R.T. Baldwin with the City of Lebanon, wishing WANT 30 years.
This is Sheila Music. I want to congratulate WANT for 30 years. Congratulations.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
When it comes to Medicare plans designed to meet your needs and budget, there's no place like Farm Bureau Health Plans. We've got Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare supplements, Part D, dental, vision, designed with folks like you in mind. Visit our office at 214 North Castle Heights here in Lebanon. You can see Charlotte Webster for your Medicare or other health plan needs. You can always get a quote for auto, home, life insurance, and also commercial insurance. Then again, West Dugan, Farm Bureau, Castle Heights office.
We continue here on this Tuesday morning. Thanks to Tom Brashear. Tom, we talked during the break here. You were planning director. And planning director, you had your own little area and a few people working with you. But then you took on the director of development services, which added about, I think, 3 more categories to your jurisdiction. What you're overseeing and Are you a glutton for punishment?
No, I try not to be, but sometimes I wake up thinking I am.
But really, and I'm not. I think I said some nice things about you at the beginning, and I don't. I mean that very much. You've come here, you proved yourself, and you give somebody like that more responsibility. But you really. I mean, you've got stormwater, you've got building
inspection and zoning enforcement and planning, and I'm also the floodplain administrator.
So that that's a lot on your plate.
Yes, sir.
Well, each one of them is kind of a separate entity that you've got to oversee. So where's your priorities?
Well, they change based upon the day and the week and the month and the year. But right now, I would say that I'm finishing up what's called a community assistance visit and a CRS, community rating system audit of which happens every 5 years, of our floodplain management program with FEMA and with the insurance consultant they've got. It's kind of like ISO for fire insurance, homeowners insurance ratings. It's the same bunch. ISO kind of has an arm that does audits on behalf of FEMA of these programs to make sure that what we're doing is effective and in terms of floodplain management, floodplain administration. We're finishing that audit up right now in terms of other things that we're doing. So we're trying to prioritize getting the I's dotted and the T's crossed after having our visit from that representative to make sure that we can maintain our status right now. Because we're in the community rating system program, our flood insurance holders in the county receive, I believe, a 5% discount on their flood insurance. With very few exceptions, everybody can get flood insurance, whether or not you're in a floodplain. I know there's a lot of misinformation that occurs from time to time. I have people come in and say, well, my so-and-so, my realtor, or my insurance agent told me I couldn't get flood insurance. You can get flood insurance, and in fact, if you're not in a floodplain, it's fairly cost-effective to get. And there are water damages that can occur that your homeowners may not cover, whether or not you're in a floodplain, that are water related or flood related, with regard to drainage problems around your house or things like that. So,
well, that's news to me. Of course, I don't know much about property and casualty insurance anyway.
Well, I'm not an insurance agent either, but
it is maybe more available than people realize.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And one of the priorities we've had, I know your guest for the commercial, Sean, also talked about the pandemic, and one of the things we did notice in terms of the growth numbers I gave you before the break, some of our highest growth years were through the height of the pandemic. We had a lot of people move here, whether it was due to the ability to remote work because a lot of offices shut down and stuff. We had a lot of people move to the Middle Tennessee area, and Wilson County was no exception to that. And so some of our highest numbers happened in the 2020 fiscal year, 2021 fiscal year, and 2022 fiscal year. But as we've grown and as culture has changed and trends have changed, we've got a lot more people that are working at home that may be trying to run businesses out of their house. Because we have zoning, and this is a difficult part of my job, in my opinion, it's a challenging part. I shouldn't say difficult, but it's a challenging part. We have to go out with inspectors and make determinations about whether somebody's actually running a commercial operation in a residential district, and that becomes an enforcement issue. We do have home occupation allowances in residential districts if you use no more than 25% of the ground floor area of the house, and it's generally got to look, smell, act, and feel like a residence. But as time has went on, that has become a much grayer area to make a determination on. So for the benefit of my inspectors that have to go out and make that determination, but also for boards that may get appealed to, such as the Board of Zoning Appeals, as well as just the standard public that's out there, some of which may be trying to operate that and some of which may live next door to such an operation and be concerned about it. We're looking at modifying our home occupation definition to be a little bit more clear
Who does
cut.
that? Is that the state thing? Is that a county thing?
That's a county thing.
All right.
And so the home occupation definition in the zoning ordinance, again, I gave you some of the high points of it, no more than 25% of the house, and this is not in the language, but it generally has to look, smell, act, and feel like a residence. You can't have a lot of people coming in and out all the time and things like that. And so we've got an amendment we're considering right now that would add some language such as, well, if you're going to do this, it's, again, in the interest of trying to make it be more residential in nature. You can't have a huge commercial storefront. You can't have commercial dumpsters. But if you want to talk about something we get a lot of complaints about is somebody drop a dumpster in the middle of the residential area, and at 6 a.m, that company comes by and dumps it and on a Saturday morning. So that would be one of the things that we might add to the language. We might add some language about Connex boxes or semi-box trailers being used as a part of the home occupation that wouldn't be permitted. No outdoor storage of anything beyond parking spaces for the single business-related.
Well, you are kind of caught. You're in between a rock and a hard place in this, because I could understand both sides. I could understand somebody wanting to work out of their home. At the same time, I can understand, just like you're talking about the garbage or the waste people coming and making a noise and waking you up and all this sort of stuff.
Some of those trucks have beepers too, you know. So,
this would be somebody would the county commission have the final say?
Yes, if we choose to amend that, it would have to go through the planning commission for a recommendation. Planning and zoning committee has expressed an interest in also weighing in on it. So that's something that we're looking at right now in terms of things we're doing.
Enforcement of this comes out of your office?
Enforcement comes out of the zoning enforcement office. That's correct.
Well, you're busier on that than you have been before, no doubt.
Yes.
And well, what's your thinking on this? Should there be some more guidelines here?
Well, I believe so, just from the standpoint of making a clear delineation about what constitutes a home occupation versus what may constitute an out-and-out business trying to run in a residential zone district that wouldn't otherwise allow commercial zoning or commercial use.
We're on the subject here. If somebody is violating this, are you the one that you send them a letter or you contact? That's your office too, your job?
Yes, sir. We generally will send one notice of violation asking the person to address it within 30 days, or person or entity to address it within 30 days. If we don't hear anything, we'll go back out to see if there's been any status change, because some people might, if they get the letter, they might just go and fix whatever the problem is. And it's not all about home occupations. It may be junk cars or junk and debris in the yard or something like that. But so we'll go back and reinspect after 30 days. And if they've still not addressed it, we'll send them a second letter asking them to address it. After 30 days, if they've not addressed it at that point, we'll send them a notice of intent to pursue court action. And after that 30 days passes, we turn it over to the county attorney for court action.
So what's the worst case scenario?
Well, the worst case scenario would be that we go to court and we lose, but the worst, from my perspective, the worst case scenario is it ends up in court, and the folks get a fine and a court order that tells them they have to address it unless we lose.
And there are, again, probably some gray areas here.
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that makes that job very challenging and difficult.
Well, we'll stay tuned, see what happens here.
All right.
But maybe a little bit better defined would help the situation.
Yeah, that's my hope.
Yeah. All right, we got a couple of minutes left. What else is on your mind this morning?
Not a whole lot, Coleman, but like I said, I've mentioned floodplain insurance and the fact that it's available to everybody. It's usually relatively economical if you're outside of a floodplain.
Right.
We do have flood standards, so if you're building in a flood, if you actually choose to build in a floodplain, there are elevation standards you have to meet. It's typically where base flood elevations have been determined by FEMA. You're required to have your finished floor elevation and all of your HVAC and mechanical and electrical equipment at least 2 feet above whatever that base flood elevation is. If you're in a determined flood zone that FEMA has determined there's a flood zone there, but it's not been studied, that elevation rises to 3 feet above the
But all
finished
that
floor
is
elevation.
really, those rules, regulations are designed to be of help, really.
To try to, if you build in a floodplain, we would probably prefer that you choose not to build in the sections of your property that are in regulatory floodplain. But if you build in them, it's intended to try to ensure that your feet stay dry in the worst case scenarios of significant floods.
We're out of time. People have questions. I guess you get a lot of calls, your office.
We do.
Pertaining to all of
We
this.
do, and that's actually one of my favorite parts of the job because that's an opportunity to assist someone.
Right.
And I think my staff would say the same across all departments is when somebody calls asking for information, that's
Yeah, and I called the other day, and Georgia is still there.
Yes.
She's been with you a long time.
Yes, she has. She's a great employee.
Tom Brashear, thanks so much for being with us today. Tom is Director of Development Services for Wilson County, and that's it for Tuesday. Join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. A new month starts tomorrow, and until then, I wish you a terrific day.